Hey everyone, welcome to this radio channel, and I wanted to show a little functionality that's been appearing on Tecsun Receivers. And you might have seen these buttons and the one called ETM. And this is a Tecsun PL380 which has it, but there are newer models, and they're adding this to their receivers. I have to say, you know what, I don't like gimmicky stuff on radios. I usually don't use scanning capabilities because I think it's, it skips over too many signals. It's not something that I find useful. But you know what, I've been starting in the past few days to really use ETM, and it's actually interesting because it scans the shortwave bands in search of some shortwave signals. So basically what you do is you turn on the radio, you press and hold the ETM until it beeps, and it's going to scan all of the international broadcast bands and tell you at the end how many stations it actually found. So here you see at the top right, while it's scanning, this is actually a counter. It's going to increase by 1 every time it finds a signal that's strong enough for it to add to the list of stations. Keep in mind, I'm using the telescopic antenna. It's only 1 p.m. in the afternoon, so this is probably one of the worst times to do this scan because the lack of signals. But it should still find some signals, especially in the higher frequency ranges, when it gets, to some of the religious stations that usually pack a good signal here. So Tecsun added this to its line of receivers, and it's, more and more of the receivers have it. And I like the fact that once it's done with the tuning button, the tuning dial, all you have to do is just go up or down. And instead of tuning the frequencies you're tuning, you're going to tune the different memory channels that it found signals on. So you notice that there's still nothing, it's still at 1 here, and it's totally normal. Well, like I said, it's 1 p.m. in the afternoon, the sun is very high. I don't think there's any signals to be heard on these bands below probably 10 megahertz. But it is a nice feature, and the only thing that maybe is I would say kind of a problem on this feature is maybe it isn't sensitive enough. It kind of needs a signal to be really strong in order for it to count it as a signal, shortwave signal that it found. Maybe an improvement would be to have even, I would say, moderately strong signals pop up also, because it did jump over a few signals that were audible on the receiver. One thing also that's not always easy to understand is the fact that, signals on shortwave fade in and out. If, of course, it was tuning the bands while a signal faded out, of course, it might not show up here as a log because at the time it was passing through, the signal was weaker. So you see it's going through all of the international broadcast bands. It beeps every time it jumps over a band. What I like about this is the international broadcast bands are pretty large. Tecsun is at least good in that way. They understand that, the international broadcast bands are not just the ones that are in specific areas. They are also a little larger. So it scans a little bit out of range of the international broadcast bands. But every time it finds the signals, it's going to pop up by 1. Like, for example, I think here it should pop up. Here it goes. You see 2. That's because 13845 is one of the international stations. It's WWCR usually packing a good signal in 13845. So as it's going up, it's counting and checking out all of the different signals that it's finding. So, it's an interesting feature, and I'll be trying it at different times today. I'll probably post another video later on today with, evening listening. We're going to try it with the, at maybe 2300 or 0 hours UT, and see how many signals it finds. Of course, one of the ways to get more signals detected is to use clip a little piece of wire to the telescopic antenna. Here I'm in a very high noise environment, so and even the camera that I'm filming with right now is a cause of interference, so it doesn't help. But clipping a piece of wire or listening when there's more signals, at least it finds everything for you. So you just have to tune around and check it out. So here we should have up to the 13-meter band, and it should be stopping in a few seconds. So you see it takes a certain amount of time for it to work because it has to go through all the shortwave bands, but it is pretty cool. And actually, for once, it's one of the new features that I find rather interesting for shortwave radios. And as you see here, a long beep says, okay, I'm over, I've done it. So here goes. This is what it found. Radio Exterior de España, 17855. WWCR 15825. WWCR 13845. And we go back. So it found 3 stations. Just before the video, I actually scanned and it had found 6. So you see, for example, one that's missing is 15610 EWN. But like I said, if it fades out while you're scanning, it might not be there. So you know what? This is interesting. You can check out what it finds, and I would see myself basically letting it scan, maybe every 10 minutes, trying it out, see what we can hear, and find, sometimes it's going to pop up on a signal that it didn't. For example, Spain here did not show up on the first scan that I did before, but it does now. So like I say, shortwave signals fade in and out. If it was scanning through while it was fading out, it doesn't pop up, but if it scans through when it's back in full force, then it shows up. That's why this feature is useful if you want to first find new shortwave broadcasts that you might not have thought of. Second of all, I would say to just hear the different signals that are around you on different bands. And doing it every 5 or 10 or 15 minutes might be an interesting experiment. And that's pretty much what I'm doing today. Every 5 or 10 minutes I'm going to just press the ETM and see what it finds, which is a pretty nice feature. So the ETM, or Easy Tuning Mode, is more and more popular on Tecsun receivers, and this is a nice addition, I think. And what you're seeing here is on the PL380 DSP receiver. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up, and I hope you enjoy the videos that I'm posting. Thank you.